Okay, what's up folks? Ernie here with Wicked Awesome Gifts, and I'm running off the computer right now. I got the headphones on only for the microphone purposes, so you can hear me nice and clear. It's better than my desk mic. Got the laser going in the background over there. It's cutting out a board for the template. So we're gonna do a quick video on doing a custom jig, because I've got some of these that we need to do, and I've seem to have misplaced my knife. Cool. I cleaned up a little bit though. Can you see it? Alright, so what we've got here are a set of coasters. And this is a set of 6 leatherette coasters that also have a coaster holder. And they're pretty nice. These come from JDS. I can put a link in the description, but you just type JDS in Google and you'll see it. They got a really nice little holster that they go in. The cool thing about this is you can engrave here and here and here. So that's kind of neat. I tried to engrave on the inside, but they just bang around, so it's not worth doing it. Then you have 6 coasters that are real nice, and they have leather fur stuff on the back. It says it's not recommended to engrave that, but I do. I put my my stamp on the back, and it looks real nice. Stinks really bad, but it looks really nice. So there's 6 in here, and I have 4 in here. So that 6 times 4 is 24. And I've got 3 boxes, so that's what, 78 coasters I gotta do? Something, 76, I don't know. Math, it's late. So that's a lot of coasters. I don't want to do that one at a time. I do have a 4 cutout jig already made for coasters, but I want to see if I can stretch it to 6. That will help out. So it's basically like doing 1 at a time. Then I only have to do it 12 times, right? So that's what we're doing. I'm cutting out a piece of board now. I don't think you guys needed to watch that. All I'm doing is cutting a piece of board. While it's cutting, it should be almost done, but while it's cutting, I will get in there. I'll show you guys what I did. So, let me open this file here. Nope, not that one. Laser stuff. Laser stuff. Nope, not there. I gotta remember where I put it. There it is. Lightburn jig. Okay. So all of these files, let's see if you guys can see that. All these files come from the Clack Shack jig system. If you buy his jig system off Etsy, you get all this stuff. He gives you some pre-made stuff, which is some caddies that are really cool that he's made. K-cup carousel, some ornaments. There's some pretty nice ornaments in there. 3-inch coasters, 4-inch coasters, dog tag, hat patches, and the jig extender. So he gives you a lot of stuff. Honeycomb holder. That was an add-on later, so I downloaded that, and that's what I used to hold honeycomb in place. Actually, I don't think I do that. I do the legs. But yeah, it kind of holds the honeycomb, so maybe that's what it is. Interchangeable jig kit. This is where the money is. Now, he's got all the different file types if you want them, but I just go right to the Lightburn files. You have locking panels, and you have the jig panels. Now the locking panels, these are, here I'll just open it up and show you. These are the original panels that go on the back, okay? So you cut these out, stick them together like a puzzle piece, put the legs of your laser in here, and that's what holds it in place. So now when you, whatever you stick on the puzzle pieces here for the front for your jig, that's going to be square with the laser. So this is a really cool system. He explains it more in his website, but yeah, so there's the jig panels. Here's the actual different panels that you can make. Right now I'm doing the large jig board. The extra large jig board won't fit. I don't have a piece of wood that big, plus it's too big of a workspace for the thing. That might work if you have the extension on your laser. Even this large jig board was too long, so I had to open that up in Inkscape and break the path on the bottom, cut that out. So now I basically took this line out here and took it out. So mine's just going up, over, down, up, over, down like that and cutting. It's not cutting its bottom line because my workspace is actually stops right about here where this blue line is. So I don't even need the bottom piece. I don't care because there's nothing to cut out, so it doesn't matter. So now what we're going to do, right, when this, and I'll explain it when we get over there again, but when this piece of wood gets cut, that sticks into the back piece like a puzzle. So we've got the jig, right? Or we got this piece of wood. So here's how you make a custom jig. You just take this blank piece here, and then whatever you cut out in here, while it's affixed to the back piece that's in place, you can use absolute coordinates over here, absolute, chords, and it will automatically go to where that is on the laser. Let's measure these real quick. I don't know if I can fit 6 in there. I hope so. I know I can get 4, but I want to get 6 in there. It's cold in here. I got my window open so the smoke can get out. All right, we are, oh good, we're not even 100 millimeters, so yeah, these aren't quite 4 inches. They're a little bit less. They're almost 3 1/4, so that's cool. So we are 95, 96, 97, 98. So I'm going to cut my holes 99. I'm going to give a millimeter breathing room, because I found that if I cut it exactly what this is, it doesn't always work right, and when you stick it in, you got to force it in. So I'll give it a little bit of play, just a millimeter though, not much. So what I said, 99, right? So we're going to make a square, and I'm going to use the blue T2. The laser will not cut the T1 and T2. Those are tool. As you see up here, it says tool. It'll frame them. You can see them, but you notice up here there's no output, so it's not going to put them out. So let's see. We got this. We're going to, look at that. I drew a perfect square. Isn't that cool? Well, we don't want it 100. We want it 99. All right. Oh, I'm a dumbass. That's the percentage. I didn't draw a perfect square. All right. 99 and 99. So there's our perfect square. That is 99 each. We're going to duplicate that. Control D, move it over. Yeah, I could use the array function, but why? This is just as quick. So there we go there. Now we got some room here, right? Looks like we're going to fit 6 on here easily. So let's get that out of the way. Let's put this, this doesn't matter. You don't have to put things in line with these squares. I just do it for measuring purposes for right now. Because once you cut the piece, it's a freestanding piece anyway, so it's irrelevant. But um, where do I want to do this? Let's put this one. Let's go over 2. And then go over 2. That leaves us 20 millimeters there and 20, a little bit there. So we can actually move it over just a hair. Actually, I'm being retarded. I can also just group them, Control G, highlight all of them, and go up here and vertically center. There, now it's center. Duplicate that, bring that down to the bottom, and there we go. Now we've got our 6-piece cutout. Cool. All right. Well, we need to turn those back to cut line. And I've got 1/4 inch birch in there, so we're gonna go 300 speed, 100 power, 4 passes. That should do it. We'll see. We're gonna turn this back into a tool line because we're cutting that out right now. And yeah, this next part I got to do over at the machine because actually I don't need the tool line at all. I've just remembered that. Let me take that out. So what we're going to do, let me group these. All right, so what we're going to do is push these up somewhere. We don't know where yet, down here. We're going to put these somewhere and then frame it and make sure it's within the board once we push the pieces in play. Then it will be locked in and we can use the absolute 0 coordinates, which change it over here, absolute chords right there. You notice it puts your little green dot back at home up there. So I've noticed on my machine, if I start more than 20, here's 20 millimeters. If I go less over here and start at 10, I'll get the alarm. It'll hit the side of the machine. So the workspace on these machines, they kind of lie to us a little bit. It's not as big, and especially if you got the 20 watt model because the thing's bigger. So I always have to start mine at least 20, and then right around over here, it bangs on the alarm on that side too. Also, when you go up top and start at 0, it's actually not 0 as you would think about it, and I'll show you when we get over there, but it's going to be down a little bit because of the jig system. So the little puzzle pieces kind of push you down a little bit. So yeah, it's good to do this when you're sitting at a desk or something and just get your cutouts lined out as to where you want them to be. And I like this 6 fit. We use the back piece of the cutout to know, hey, this is going to fit. Let me bring that back in real quick and show you. Because one thing that I know about this, having made my things before, it looks like we have a lot of room down. Okay, guys, here's take number 3 or 4 or something. I don't know. My audio cut out on me earlier in the middle of the video. So then I tried to do an overlay, and I didn't have the mic turned on. So, yeah, this has just been one of those days. So real quick, we're just going to go over this. The part that cut out I was talking about when I was creating the cutouts for the jig. Jesus Christ, that's bright. Holy fuck. Why can't anything work right today? Let's see. Settings. Properties. Configure video. exposure. Get rid of the low light. There. Okay. Now that we're done blinding ourselves. So what I was talking about in the one spot in the video was about the cutouts shaping the pieces of the cutouts for the coasters in a certain spot, moving it up and down, getting it just right. So I think there's enough redundancy in the whole video about that. I don't think I need to bring that up and talk about that anymore. But what I did talk about in that spot that got cut out was about the Clack Shack. And the whole point of this whole video was on using the jig system that he created. So I think it's important that we show you where that is and how to get it. So if you go to YouTube and type in the Clack Shack and hit search, you're gonna get an advertisement for the RA2 Pro. So here's his site right here. I went ahead and subscribed to it. I would encourage you guys to like and subscribe to his channel as well. He has a lot of videos. He's got a couple different lasers, so it's not all about xTool. He does a lot of other stuff with milling, and he lives on a farm, I think, and he does bees and stuff. He's got all kinds of stuff going on, right? And he does a lot of reviews for things. So check him out. But when you look at his videos, it's easier just to type in here jig system, because he gets tons of questions about his jig system, so he makes videos about it. The first one was 9 months ago. This one, my new xTool D1 jig kit. That's a good video to watch. He lays out all the pieces and explains to you how to do it. I think he's got some more jig stuff down here, but these first three are the good ones. He kept getting more and more questions about how to use the thing, so then he did another video right here called Interchangeable Jig Kit, How to Use It. I would encourage you to watch that one because he goes a little more in depth on explaining how to use the system. And then he has a D1 honeycomb holder. This was one of the later ones. I think, no, that's maybe that one. If not, there's another one where he makes little risers and that you can put underneath to lift it up above the honeycomb. So those are good. So if you are watching this video and if we click on it and then we hit pause, there's a commercial. But if we go down here, show more, he's got a link to his Etsy shop as well as some other stuff. So we click on the link, takes us to his Etsy page. And here you're going to find his interchangeable jig kit for the xTool D1 and the D1 Pro. Costs $4. Interchangeable jig extender. This is a thing to extend it. So if you get the extended thing, you can use that one. I didn't get that because I don't have the extended thing. He's got one for an Otor laser, probably another laser. He's got a lot of different things. So he's made some jigs that he sells as well. A business card jig, a circle coaster jig, 31 or 30 dog tag jig. So he's got some pre-made jigs in here. I bought some of them that I found interesting. He's got some standard hat patch jigs too, so those come in handy. And built within the system of the jig kit that he sells, there's also some pre-made things in there for you, as well as the stuff that I use tonight, which is basic boards where you can custom create your own jigs. So that's where we kind of started tonight. We didn't go over all the other basic stuff. So rather than me try to explain it over and over again in my way, it's better just to go get it right from the horse's mouth. Let him explain to you how he uses his system, and go from there. It's only $4, guys. Don't go try and ask people, hey, can I get that file? I really heavily believe in supporting content creators. It's only $4. If you can afford a $2,000 laser, you can afford to give this guy $4, right? So yes, I have the files. No, I'm not going to give them to you. Go pay the man $4 and get your own. So support a creator, right? So go do that. One watch his videos, learn something. That's what I did when I was brand new. I learned a lot from watching his videos. And this one thing I will say about the jig system, so he does things his way, and you'll notice that when you watch his videos, and he even tells you, this is the way I do it, just like I tell you guys that. You know, you may not agree or whatever, and that's fine. You're adults. You don't have to. But that's the way he does business. And with his jig system, he has it very highly customized for what he does and how he does his business. I have his system very highly customized for me and how I do my business. So the system in itself and the conceptual idea of the jig system that interlocks with each other is awesome. It's brilliant. He did a great job with that. How you use it is up to you. It can be done and used many, many, many different ways. Okay? So don't think you're going to go get his files, cut them out, plop them in your laser, and boom, you're going to be able to do the stuff he's doing exactly like he does it, because his stuff is very customized to how he does business. He's got personal enclosures, personal workbenches. His jig system, I think, is screwed down to his workbench. You know, mine isn't. So you gotta come up with your own way how to use his jig system, and just trust me, it's worth it. It's a hassle. You saw our tonight's video. It can be a hassle. It doesn't have to be, but it can be, because you're learning as you're going. So oftentimes when you're learning as you're going, things are a little bit of a pain in the butt. But just trust me, put in the time, put in the effort, get it done right, and you're going to love the system. It works really, really well. So that's all I wanted to add. I'm going to cut splice this, put it in there, and then that video will finally be done. All right. And sorry for this interruption, and now we return you to your regularly scheduled program. All right, welcome back. We're over here at the laser now, and coffee. Ragnar. Now we're going to experience the joys of cutting plywood. I hate plywood. So, let's flip you around. I ended up doing one more pass at 250. This was 400. I don't know if you can see, but we've got a few spots here. We're going to have to hit it with the knife. Especially down here, there were some glue pockets down there. The rest of it come out pretty good. I mean, it's almost loose. Honestly, I could probably... Yeah, most of these I can poke right out with my hand. So we got... very minimal cutting to do. All these are loose. Very minimal cleanup. I think, honestly, the only piece I'll have to score looks like maybe right here. Can't seem to get that to poke through one-handed anyway. Maybe if I put you guys down, I can do it. Got that one. But this over here looks to be pretty... Oh, got it. We ain't got to be pretty. I don't care if it rips some of these little fibers off, because this is just a jig anyway. Alright, well, let me put y'all down and go ahead and pop the rest of this out. Maybe. Alright, let me score that piece real quick. As long as you come most of the way through, you ain't really got to cut at it too hard. You just got to give it a little score, and it'll come right out. It's just a couple little strands, little fibers holding it in. Now these are cool when you get pieces like these. I save these for stain stick stirrers, so I don't throw those away. I keep those. I'm not going to waste precious wood on a template or a jig, but man, I hate plywood. for this reason. If I'd have cut this out of a big piece of solid wood, it'd already be out and ready to go. It's a little tricky with all these little twists and turns in there. Break that off. Another little stirrer for the stain, right? Why spend money on that stuff when you got extra pieces of wood laying around? Man, this thing is kicking my ass. Get out. Alright. We got her. I only got 2 splinters out of the deal. So this is going to be a little rough. Camera's not tracking anymore. Let me get some sandpaper. I don't waste a whole lot of time sanding these grooves, but I will run a piece of paper through them just to knock off any little extra burrs in there or something that might get stuck when you put the puzzle together. I'll just take a little piece of sandpaper, roll it up about the size of these little holes and just run it through. It's a little too thick. That's what she said. And let's see. I never was good at rolling joints in my younger days, so this takes a minute. Alright, so you see like on here we got some little burrs hanging off, so I'll just take his sandpaper, run it through there. A little 150 grit, I mean 220 if you got it, whatever. Doesn't matter, I'm just knocking off the burrs. Getting off any little crusty bits of char. It might be extra because I'm not gonna lie, the first time or two you put these together in the jig system, they're a little tight. They're a little tight getting them in and out of there. But the more and more you do it, the more they kind of wear out a little bit, and it's not so bad. Alright, if I have to do much more sanding than that, I'll just pause the video. Let's see if this is going to work. So let's turn you around and we'll show you what we're doing. So I moved the laser, and it looks like my battery's getting low. Cool. So we'll have to tend to that in a minute. Always something. Get up there. Little bendable tripod is not cooperating. Alright, so there's the back, and you'll see I've got that back piece already in place. If I lift up on my frame, you're gonna see, hold on a minute. If I lift up on the back piece, you're gonna see the holes where the legs go in, right? So the legs rest right inside there, on top of those little honeycomb adapters I was talking about. And this stupid thing ain't... What are you trying to track on? Dumbass camera. Alright, so we've got the holes back there. They sit in there. This piece stays. This light's a piece of shit. Put that over there. Bring out this LED light. See if this is a little better for what we're doing here. Okay, so this piece, it's got a little bit of play in it, right? Up and down, but no play left and right. There is, I'm not gonna lie, there's like a half or a quarter of a millimeter play in it because when I sanded the inside of the circles for the legs, I went a little too much, but it doesn't really affect anything. There is a little bit of play back and forth because of my sanding job. So I've got someone in the group that's going to be trying to make us a metal one of those back plates. So that'll be great whenever that happens. So whatever jigs you use, you see I've got a bunch up here on the wall. They all have the little puzzle pieces at the top. So if I were doing this one, this is for slate, and I just stick them right in there, and it fits right in. And then I tell the machine to go home, back in that corner. I hit start, it comes right out to here. So it's pretty cool. But I made that one the same way I'm making this one, so let's get started on that. We take this big old piece of board that we just done, and let's see how tight she's gonna be. Hey, it's not really that bad. It started to go in. She's a little tight. Let me put you down. Like I said, these first few times you put these in and out, you're gonna have to work with it a little bit because it's pretty tight. All right, we need some sanding done on that, looks like. Cool. All right, I'm gonna press pause, go over those a little more with some sandpaper so we don't bore you to death, and then we'll come back with that. Okay, everybody, we're back. I ended up just tearing off little bits of 600 grit paper and just hitting basically getting the char off of it. It took a lot to get it on there, and then I held it up to my little one I showed you I made earlier to see, and it looks like somewhere in the process of me exporting it to Inkscape and then back into Lightburn, when I took off that bottom piece I was telling you about, it must have shrunk up like a 0.5 millimeter because the little pieces right here are just a little bit short. So it still fits in there, but it's real tight. And I need to get some of these done tonight. So it's in there, so we're gonna finish the video, make it work, and then tomorrow I'll hit it with a file, or some more sandpaper, but probably better with a file, and just take off that little extra millimeter on the bottom, so then they'll slip on and off easier. So let's spin you around here, and we see that it's in there. Pretty damn tight, but she's in there. So that's our blank piece of wood. So now we're gonna go over here and we're gonna hit the home button. Oh, my light's in the way. I'll just push it with my hand. There we go. Now we'll hit the home button so I don't run into my light. So the laser went back home. It's in the back space, right? So now we go up here and we open up that file that I made earlier. Jigs, there you are. Okay, so we don't need the blue part anymore. Let me get rid of that. But this is our layout and this is what we want. So if I move this all the way up here, remember I told you earlier I can't go 20 or I'll set my alarm off. So we'll zoom in, we'll grab it here, and we'll drop it right there at 0.20. And let's just do a frame. Actually, let's ungroup this. Shift U, or excuse me, Control U to ungroup. And make sure this one's ungrouped. Control U. What I want to do, I don't want to frame the whole thing yet. Stupid camera, stay up there. I don't want to frame the whole thing yet just because I don't want to sit here all day doing that. So we'll just make those a frame. We'll turn this one back to red. And up here, we turn off the frame button for the blue. So now when I hit frame, it's only going to go around the red one. And I want to, basically what I want to do when I frame it, I want to see where it puts it on the board. Alright, and way off, right? So, but that's about right, because remember I told you 20 is my limit before it starts to bang into the rails, so I know that. So now we know that's over. We'll get our little slide rule and measure from crosshairs over. It's about, can't see, 35. And we know we want to come in about, what, I say 10, 20. So let's just go at 55 for now and see if my quick math is right. So we highlight them all and move them over to about 55 from the 20, so 75 total. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 75-ish. That seems a bit far. I bet I can get away with right here. Let's go right here. Let's see what that does. I'm stupid. I'm like, well, that didn't do a damn thing. Alright, we didn't change this over here from current position to absolute coordinates. So now we do that, hit home, tell it it's home. Now we hit frame, and we see it goes right there. Alright, that looked about right. So let's see how far over we're going to be. About 25. So I can go back 5. I thought that looked a little far. I did my quick math too far ahead. So let's actually go ahead and stick this at the 10. I don't want to go to the 5 mark. We'll stick it there. I don't care if it's centered on the board. I just want it to be somewhat in the middle. Yep, I like that. I like that position. So that makes me happy. Now we know that's 0, 0, and also at the very top, right? Now sometimes this back cable can get in the way, so I don't want it that close to the top. So I'm not sure how far down we can come yet. Just to get a rough idea, we can throw a coaster down. See, there's 1, 2. So we got about 20, 30 millimeters to play with. So I'm going to bring it down, the whole thing down, to about, we'll do 30. See how that looks. And actually, I'll go ahead and close the gap here just to make sure we have enough room. We'll put it 20 away from it. Right there. Okay, so I'm kind of liking the way this is shaping up. We'll turn them all back to red. And we'll tell it to go home. Always hit home and then start again. Sometimes I've noticed, now it's supposed to, if it's out here and you do something, it's supposed to go right to it. Every now and then it gets stupid and forgets, I think, or I don't know what it is. Or maybe I do something wrong, I just don't know it. So now I've just gotten the habit of always hitting home when I'm using absolute coordinates. So we'll frame the whole job. We'll see it's going to start up there. That's cool. Gives me some room. I can write something up here. And we're probably going to go to about here. Yep. Probably going to come down to about here. Oh, look at that. We're right on the bottom. My sheet of plywood that I chose doesn't cover the full workspace. So we need to go up a little bit. I kind of want to keep this gap here I don't have a whole lot of room to work with. Screw it. We'll just make them 10 millimeters apart. That's fine. So that'll buy us 10 millimeters, and do this. We'll go up. Now again, remember guys, this is also one of those things that you only have to do once. So take your time, even though it's a little annoying, a little time consuming. Take your time, get it set up exactly like you want it, because once this is done, you know, anytime I want to do these kinds of coasters again, it's already set. I just plop that thing down and pop the coasters in and go. So, all right, let's go home and let's frame that again. See how far on the bottom we come this time. Oh yeah, we got lots of room now. We made a lot of room. So I'm happy. I just don't like my stuff all the way on the edge and the bottom if it doesn't have to be. I can actually bring that back down 5 millimeters. I think I might do that because that was kind of a lot of room. I just don't like the inside pieces being so close in case I break it one day. I mean, it's plywood. It shouldn't break, but again, it's one of those things, personal preference. I just like it to be a little bit spaced out. So let's go ahead, and I need a camera that attaches to my head. Then I don't have to hold this hand. At least it's got a gimbal on it, so it's nice and steady for you guys. Okay, so there's those pieces. I don't think y'all want to watch it cut, do you? So, I mean, I could leave the camera on and do the time-lapse nonsense, but, I mean, it's engraving's funner to watch time-lapse, not really cutting. So what I'm going to do now, the other one I did at 300 at 4. It left a little bit of scraggles. So I'm going to do this at 275 at 100 power, 4 passes. And we'll see. Those should pop right out at that speed and power. It's going to take about 34 minutes, so I'm not going to leave this thing running. I'll go charge it while we're waiting. So what we're going to do, now we're going to cut these. And then once we cut them, we're going to turn them back into tool lines, and we're going to lock them in place. And I'll show you that, and then I'll explain to you why there. Because that's when, right now it's our cut file, right? But as soon as we're done, because of the relationship between this absolute 0 coordinates and the way the template's stuck on the back piece, it's all going to equal itself. So when these holes are here, as long as we save this file and lock those in place, next time all we have to do is drag our images inside these squares, and boom, we have a template. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this started. Let me turn my air on, and we are going to cut. There it goes. So I'm gonna pause the video, and we will be back, and we'll have our pieces all cut out. All right, boys and girls. I thought about it after I stopped the video over there. We can do this part on the computer, so save a little bit of time while those are still cutting out the template over there for the jig rather. We can go ahead and set up our template. So let's reopen that file. And there's the one that I just had over on the other computer. And as you can see, there's our 6 lines. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to turn those into tool lines, because we don't want to cut those anymore, right? So now they're tool lines, and they won't do, nothing will happen with them. But they're visible to us, so we can still see where the squares are in relation to the board. Now if you go over here and we highlight all of them, and we go to Arrange, and then Lock Selected Shapes. All right, click that. You'll notice they turn in little plus signs come in all the corners. And now you click them, but you can't do nothing with them, right? You can't move them. You can't do nothing with it. So they're locked in place. Now we don't ever have to worry about dragging them out of alignment. So remember, I don't know if I'm explaining this good or not. Maybe I am, and I'm just overthinking it. But since we start at 0, 0, we utilize absolute coordinates. We hit home on the laser. The laser always starts from here, and it goes to over here to do whatever we drop inside there. So let's put a picture in there. Oops, not that button. Yeah, I'm wearing my jacket because it's cold in here. I opened the window, and it's like 15 degrees outside. So, file, import, and we're going to go back to our Stone Tree customers because this is for them. We are going to bring in their logo. And remember I said this was like, what, 90? Yep, 99. We don't want the image to be right on the edge of the coaster. So if we look at our coasters, come here, coasters. All right, if we look at our coasters, we can see that it has stitching on the edge and a little bit of rounded. It's textured. There's padding in there. So we're going to measure that. So from the very edge to the stitches is 3 millimeters. I want to go about, I'd say 5 millimeters from the stitches. So we're talking 8 millimeters in. Yeah, let's do that. So we're gonna, I don't ever want to alter my original squares, my original cut lines, right? So now we're going to introduce another line, or another rectangle. So we draw one in there. And I want this one to be orange tool line. So now I know that my, let's move these down. Come on, click on you. Go down. All right, I know that my orange line is where I want my graphic to be. And the blue line is the outline of my cutout. So I said 8. We got what, 90? So we need to be 91, right? Is that the right math? Let's see. 91. 91. Close that. Highlight them both. Hit the bullseye button. You can't do that while they're locked. All right, that should be center right there. What we can do is we can go down and unlock them real quick. And then click the little one first, then click the big one. That way it'll center to the big one and it doesn't move. Okay, so I was right, it was centered. So Control D. Oops, delete. I had them both highlighted. Just click the little one in the middle. Control D. Shift, click that one, hit the bullseye. Boom. Hit that one. Control D. Hold shift, hit the big one, hit the bullseye. There we go. And we'll just finish doing that for all of them. Now, one thing I don't think I did right. Because this is only 1, 2, 3, 4 millimeters over. I needed to go 8 millimeters from the edge, so that's 16 total. So I did the math wrong. So let's delete these. 99 minus 16 is what? 83? No, 73. So our square needs to be 73 millimeters. Uncheck that. 73 by 73. Lock it. Oops, shit, locked it too early. 73, there we go. That's where we want our graphic to go. Now we highlight those, hit the bullseye. Was my computer locked up now? Cool. What the hell? Hello? Computer? What? The hell's going on? Man, I ain't got time for this. It's not locked. I mean, why? What? I hit something. Control Z. What does undo? Oh, I went down to a rectangle. Look at that. What the shit? All right, my hand must have hit something. Annoying. Get rid of that. All right, so do that. Hit the bullseye. Whoops, we don't want to do that. You, and then you. Come on, click. Bullseye. Center. Thank you. So now if we go over here and count. I did something wrong again. Why is my math not right? That's 10, 13, 26. I didn't go in 20. Did I do math? God. Okay. Let's do math right this time. What's 99 minus 16? 99 minus 10 is 89. Minus 6 is 83, not 73. Okay, we're going to take remedial math when we're done with this video because apparently after 10 o'clock at night I get stupid. So we do 83 by 83. That looks a lot better. We click the little guy first. You're not going to outrun square again. Why does it keep doing that? Get rid of that little baby square. Alright, click that. Shift, click that, hit the bullseye. Now she's centered. And if we look, now we've got 8 squares. Each square is a millimeter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. So the stitches were there, and I wanted to go over 5. So I think this is going to be a perfect spot. Now I can mass produce these little guys. Control D. Shift, click that, hit the bullseye. Control D, Shift, hit that, hit the bullseye. Oops. Did I make 2 of those? Nope. All right. I love Control Z. Shift, hit that, bullseye. Click the little guy, Control D, Shift, hit that, and bullseye. Perfect. Now we want to lock all these. We don't ever want those to move. Arrange and lock. Perfect. So let's get our little guy here. And what did we say this is? 83. So we want to make the biggest spot 83. So that would be height. So 83. And I want to center. Is this not going to center for me now when I do these? That's okay, it will. So good. So we notice it's going to butt right up on the edge of that line for top and bottom. That's cool. And I know the T sticks up a little bit, but that's the customer's logo. That's how they made it. That's how they want it. I don't alter customers' logos unless they ask me to. So let's duplicate. And stick it in the middle. I should have done this when I did the squares, huh? Would have saved myself some time. That's okay. Boop-a-doop-a-doo. Control D to duplicate. Hold Shift, hit the square, and move it over. Control D to duplicate. Shift, hit the square, and bullseye. There we go. So now I have my 6 piece template for my leather coasters. And I forgot to engrave that. So when those things are done cutting, I'll put a title at the top just because I already know what, obviously by the looks of it, what it is. But sometimes it's fun to engrave your titles on your templates. So again, These blue squares are the actual cutouts on the board that we did once it was already attached to the jig system. That's the key thing there. You have to make sure it's attached to the back piece jig system when you cut these pieces out. And you always make sure you're at 0, 0. You make sure you pick absolute coordinates. Now when I go to engrave, it's going to go down and it's going to go right to where this is. And it's going to do it all. So I know the settings for those coasters, the rustic gold, is I can do them at 8700 speed and 30% power. You don't have to click air assist on. I just do that. I just making myself get in the habit of doing that, because later when I have other lasers, you will have to do that. And I always use air assist anyway, so I always click it just to start building that muscle memory. Lines per inch, I do 300 on those. I think I did 254 okay. 318, you can get a little overlap, and sometimes it'll make the gold not quite as gold, so I found 300 works perfect for that. Now we can fill all shapes at once, but let's do a little test while we're here. If I fill all shapes at once, the laser's going to come down and going to go here. Me, over here. That's a lot of white space for no reason, right? And if we do a preview, it's going to take 1 hour and 7 minutes to do all 6 of those. So if we go back over here and we do fill groups together, now it's going to do this, because this is considered a grouping. This is considered a grouping. And it's going to hopefully knock quite a bit of time off there. I would think at least 15 minutes. Let's see. Yeah, 45 minutes. So that's not bad for really 45 minutes for 6 of them. I know it's all lined up perfectly and it's going to do well, so I can just hit the button and go do other things. Come back. Now I got to do 12 of them, right? 12 sets of 6, so do that math. That's 12 hours almost of burning, so it's going to take a little while to do this job. That's why we need the Mira 9 Pro. Hashtag sponsor, hashtag give me one for free. All right, so also if you notice, if you do fill shapes individually, that might go down and actually fill the letter S, then the letter T, then the letter O, and the letter N. I don't think that's going to save you any time. Sometimes it costs you time. Yeah, look at that, 1 hour and 40 minutes. So if I turn on the show transversal mode, I usually keep that off because I don't care. But there you see all the pink. That's all the back and forth, all the red that the laser head does when it moves around. So it goes over itself a lot doing that way, so we don't want to do that. But let's just do this for shits and giggles. If we go back to fill all of them at once, you'll see that there is a lot of, look at that, all this wasted travel time for the laser, right? Even, and I'm going 8700 speed, so it's going to be going wonk, 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 right? It still takes a long time. That's a lot of wasted space. Now you could be one of those guys that set the speed up on the white space, but I've noticed the laser gets mad when you do that. I've never had a case where I do that and it works well, so I don't even mess with that. But just go here, fill groups together, and that makes more logical sense. Basically, it does one at a time. And now if we go look and we see there's no dark red. The dark red was it overlapping itself, so doing redundant work. The light pink is where it goes. And in the first scenario, we had a lot of light pink in between, right? Because the laser was going over there. Now you only got it going over once. So it does all this, goes over, does all this, goes over there, right? And that's why it cuts off a lot of time, 15 minutes worth of unnecessary movement. And this, again, this is 8700 speed, so that's pretty fast. That's 145 for those of you that use millimeters a second. So that's pretty quick. I wonder, I probably could push it faster, but honestly, I think if you get going too fast, you might lose a little bit of the detail. So I don't want to mess with that. But so I'm happy with this. This is what we're going to set. This is what we're going to do. Let me save this as the final version. and then we'll go over there and watch one. We will do this as leatherette square coaster set. That'll be the name of that. Now also what I'm going to do just for the first one, I'm going to highlight these other 5 and give them a tool color for now so that it doesn't do them. I don't want to frame my tools, and I just want to do one. I want to do one, make sure it's going to work, make sure my jig is set up correctly and I didn't miss anything, because I'm not perfect. I screw things up. So I want to just make sure it works before I go run a whole job of 6 and possibly waste 6 coasters and ruin 45 minutes of my life. I'd rather do it where I only ruin 1 coaster and waste 7 minutes of my life, right? So when those pieces are done cutting out, we will burn one of these coasters, take a look at it, make sure I'm happy with it, and then we'll do the other 5. And then tomorrow when I get home from work, I can, start running the other batches and probably get this job finished up on Wednesday and get it over to them. Do a couple each night, a couple sets, and we'll be done with it, and we'll be on to bigger, better things. So let me end this video, go check on the laser, see how much time we got left there, and I'll pick you guys back up over there on the laser. Alrighty. Alright guys, we're back over here at the laser, and I was going to do this offline, but I figured, you know what? Let me just go ahead and show you the annoyance of cutting this damn plywood. Have I told you already that I hate plywood? Because I hate plywood. Let me turn off this air. Alright, so we just cut these, or tried to cut this at, let me get this camera wrapped around the bar here real quick. Alright, so as we can see, 1 piece came out. Isn't that annoying? So I try not to sound like too much of an asshole when I talk about this stuff, but you see it all the time, and if I flip this piece over, you're going to see a lot of lines didn't even go through, right? If I lift up a little bit here, this one's almost out. This one, a little bit there, it's stuck here. This one, a little bit over here, it's stuck in this corner. This one, stuck in this corner. And this one, stuck in this corner. So if we look close, you can see some heavy burn marks here. That's telling me there's some real heavy glue deposits in this area right here. Same thing over here. There's some heavy glue here. So when I run my hand under, I can feel, even though I can feel a little bit of jagged there. So it went through, but over here, there's nothing. I mean, it didn't even come through at all. So I'm not even going to waste time undoing it and flipping it over and trying to score it, because I know that that's going to be a perfectly clean piece of plywood. Now, the reason I show you guys it, and look, this one came out perfect, right? I mean, minimal charring here. Came out great. I didn't have to force that one out at all. It just came right out. So plywood is very inconsistent, especially when you're doing a big piece. This was more evident at Christmas time when we were all trying to do ornaments, right? 1 big sheet, let's make 20 ornaments. They don't come out. I can't tell you how many I've thrown away. So you'll see people on forums all the time, hey, my plywood's not cutting, blah, blah, and you'll get 100 stupid-ass answers from other people. Just turn it over and sand it. I guarantee you if I turn this piece over and sand it, these pieces ain't coming out. There's heavy glue deposits in plywood. And this is good plywood. I bought this from Oak Hardwoods, and they make, so far that I've seen, the best plywood out there. So this isn't shitty plywood. It's just the nature of plywood. It's just what it does. It's not the cheap sand stuff from Home Depot and flooring. This is real plywood that's made for lasering. But it's held together by glue. So this is going to happen a little bit. Now, if I turn this over like this one will score and come right out. It's not a big deal.
probably this one too. But these ones down here, they're a little stuck. I'm going to go ahead and blast it again. I'll probably lower the speed, hit these corners a little bit, and then end up turning it over and having to score it. But I just wanted to show you guys the annoying part. My laser head isn't dirty, okay? My laser's not broke. It's a 20-watt laser. I got plenty of power. My focus is fine. Everything's fine. I just cut out this big-ass piece of wood, and it all came right out, right? It's just the nature of plywood. It sucks, and it's annoying. If this was a regular piece of hardwood, it cuts like butter, all these pieces would have come out perfect like this one. So I just got unlucky. There's two big-ass heavy deposits of glue right here and probably extend over to here. So this whole area right here is going to kind of be a pain in the ass when I flip her over. But I'm going to give it 2 more passes at probably I'm going to knock it down to 200, see if I can melt through some more of this glue a little bit. Then I'll turn it over and score it, and I'll go ahead and show you guys what that looks like before I do it, just so you can get a follow-up on this monstrosity. If all these pieces didn't feel like this one, I'd probably go ahead and just turn it over and score it, but I already know what it's going to look like under there, and I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to have this much of this piece that doesn't even have a line I can even score. It's just annoying. And that means if I finally wiggle it, get my knife in there, cut it, break it, get it out of there, I'm going to have to go and do a lot of sanding over here to get this, all the extras that don't come out. And then my square may not be as square anymore. So it's just stupid. I really hate plywood. While I got it here, I'm curious now also, while I got it, before I keep going any further, if these holes are even big enough. Perfect. All right, good. So at least I'm happy about that. My holes are good. There's a teeny tiny bit of play, but not enough to throw off the design. So that's great. Oh, that makes me happy. So all I gotta do is drop my piece in. I'll push her left and push her up and, you know, square it to this corner. Call that good. So that makes me happy. I'm happy with that. At least I measured correctly. So, all right, I'm gonna go and dick around with this plywood some more, and I'll be back in a few. All right, we're back. It's done. I did 2 more passes at 225. The speed before was actually 275, so I probably could have done 250. Let me turn off the air. Get rid of that buzz. Send the laser home. And let's see what we got here. Nope. That one a little better. Cool. So it did not come out. Well, let's just flip her over, see what we got, see how much work we got to do. Now she's still a little tight, so I'm going to bang them with the Sharpie edge here. There. Just to remind you, that is not normal. We don't normally have to do that. That's because I screwed up when I cut this big piece, and I didn't want to waste another piece of wood and cut a new big piece, but somehow I made these little deals shorter than they're supposed to be, so I got to get in there with a file and fix that up. But for now, we got it to work. So if we look on the back, there's a big glue spot there, a little one there, a little one over here. So it's not as bad. This whole area kind of sucks. So we'll just hit that with the knife and get it out of there. Did I tell you that I hate plywood? When I first started doing this, and this happened, I was trying to score a piece of wood out when I was out in the other room before I moved into this room, and I went down and cut my finger. Big old gash right there, and it was a mess. I hate this. It's stupid. There's that one. See what it does when you have to score it, it doesn't burn through. So now I'm going to have to go through and sand that, because you can't, I don't know if you can see it real well, but I can feel it. there's extra pieces of wood right there, right, sticking out. So I gotta go sand that to make sure this is perfectly straight. So it's just more work you have to do, and it's gonna be, I'm not knocking the xTool, it is what it is, but man, it's gonna be so nice when I finally get a CO2 and I can just power right through this shit. I don't have to do this anymore. See, this is what, when it doesn't even poke through at all, if you don't cut it straight, it may not score properly. It's just stupid. But I figure, you know, why do this offline? Let's let you join in my misery, because you all have to do it. And those people that are on there going, oh yeah, I cut mine at 400 speed, one pass, up to a 1/4 inch plywood, no problem. They're fucking lying, alright? I don't know what the purpose of lying on the internet is, but so many people do it. Just be honest. Nobody cuts through one pass, 1/4 inch plywood with their xTool. One pass. Get out of here. I took 4 passes. And I'm not going to run it at, you know, 60 speed or 5 speed. That's just asinine. Why would I do that? You're going to risk burning up your wood when it hits that glue. And you're just going to have a bad day. So, whatever. They can pretend that they cut it with no problem, but I'm here to tell you, plywood is a problem. Now, you saw that first piece came right out. So, it's not always. The next jig I make, it might come out perfect the first time. I don't know. It all depends on whether or not you're going to hit those really heavy glue spots. And this is honestly enough to make me not want to use wood, really. If you notice in a lot of my posts that I make, I don't do a whole lot of crafting anymore. Come on, man. Get out. I don't have time to sit here and do this. Fuck around with plywood. I mean, who really does? I'm sure you guys got better things to do. Look at that. Look at all that burned char coming out of there. That's from the glue. Stupid. Luckily, you just get your knife in there. I mean, it cleans right up. And this is not a piece I'm giving to a customer. It's just a jig. So I don't have to worry about it being pretty. I don't really give a shit at this point. But I at least want it to be square so that my coasters fit in there like they're supposed to. So those of you that are watching that go through this, just know that you are not the only one. I see the people posting all the time and they show their work and they're frustrated because they saw the advertisement and they saw the cool stuff people make and they buy the machine, they plop it down and try to cut something out. So the advertisement don't tell you you got to do this. If they did, people probably wouldn't buy it. I don't know. Well, they probably still would because they're pretty cool machines. It's just a pain in the ass to do this. And do be careful. I'm putting a lot of pressure on here, and that's why you notice I keep my hand out of the damn way. Because I already learned once, cutting the shit out of my finger, so I put a lot of pressure. And you see there's a one spot right here where it keeps popping out with this black soot. That's really, my knife keeps getting stuck in there. There's really, this is a DeWalt blade. These are nice, and this is actually got the extra heavy duty blades in there too. That's some strong gunk they put in this plywood. Tell you what. And sometimes what happens is when the laser hits it, it don't burn it up. It just like petrifies it. It makes it harder. And it just, every time the laser goes over it, it just makes it harder and harder. Let me take off my jacket. It's warm now. As soon as I shut my window, it gets warm quick in here. Alright. And we are free and clear. Now we got extra little pieces of wood to use as shims, right? Because we, yeah. We'll save those. We'll use them for something. And let's clean up this part. Like I said, luckily the cleanup part ain't too bad, and if you're doing a project, you know, and you need your pieces to look nice, then this can be also very frustrating, because now instead of having that nice clean black you know, burn mark, you got really bright marks in between. So that can be sucky when you're trying to present something nice to your friends or family or customer or whatever. Let's get some of these smoothed out here a little bit. I just want to make sure nothing's hanging for the coasters to get caught on. Kind of running out of idle chit chat now. I think I've already displayed my anger for plywood enough. You probably don't want to hear that anymore. So we'll just finish this up. All right. Got that good. Sometimes I'll just go ahead and take a rag and wipe off some of the soot and the char, just so it doesn't get all over your projects when you drop them in. Make sure your finger don't fall off the rag so you get a bunch of splinters. That's always fun. It's a lot of work, but again, when I sit here and start getting frustrated, I remind myself I only got to do this once. And when I go and just plop down coasters and hit the start button and go away and do other things for the next 45 minutes, it's all worth it. I ain't doing 100 coasters one at a time, I'll tell you that. Alright, let's get this bad boy back in there. Again, this is not normal. Don't sit there and go, and that jig system sucks. It's a great system. All my other little pieces go in and out with ease. I just cut this one incorrectly, so it's my fault. Sometimes your pieces will lift up a little bit. They might warp in time. You know, wood warps, and you can see when I tap it, there's a little movement. So normally I'll just stick a magnet over there, hold it down. That one ain't really moving, but we just put a little magnet over there, hold her down. Doesn't matter on this because it's a jig, but there you go. Get home. Alright, let me take you back up here to the computer and turn the little deal. Wait, don't go that way. Okay, so if you remember earlier, what I had done was I set all the other ones to tool lines, and I just want to do one coaster, right? So we want to try one out. So let's go ahead and plop one in here. And I'm going to push it left and push it up. There really is no play in here. I just do this to make sure, that way everything is always the same. Right? So it's in there pretty good. There's no real wiggle room at all. So the next thing we need to do is get the focus. Put it right in the middle. Drop her down, and we're good. Okay. And we hit the home button. And let me stick you guys back up here. These little tripods with the movable legs are pretty cool. This camera likes to lock in on things, and so it's not always straight, but whatever. Alright. There's that. And did that clear okay? Sometimes this won't clear, and you might bang on it if it's too low. That's one of the bad things about using a 1/4 inch, but I think it cleared just fine. Let's just pull it here and make sure. Hit home. Yeah, we didn't bang on it. Okay, cool. So we're going to turn on our air, and we're going to run this job. I'll leave this one running just for shits and giggles, and I'll practice with the fast forward on the editing when we edit the video later. But let's see how it does. Actually, I want to frame it first. About 5 millimeters away from the line on that side. Perfect. I like it. So, if you it's done and looks good. Let me turn off the air. I am happy with that. So we've heard me sit here and cuss plywood, make mistakes along the way with my cutting this I gotta fix later, struggle a little bit, but that to me makes it all worth it when you turn out something nice. Now once we get all 6 pieces in there and run it, then it's, you know, it's gold. I don't have to sit here and do them one at a time, so that's great. Let's go ahead and get this guy out of here. And if you notice, I'm going to clean it in a second. We'll see if that cleans away. Come on, camera. Alright, we'll see if that cleans away, but there's a little bit of brown right there. It could be that the thing's bowed. I don't know that it is. So if the coaster was bowed at all, it could be losing focus there. With these leatherette pieces that have the foil inside to get other colors like silver and gold, if you lose focus a tiny bit, it can make it, you know, not as shiny. So what we're going to do here is another little trick. I did make another little video a while ago about cleaning the leatherette with tape. But since then, I have seen a video from the people at JDS. Where is... Oh, I went too far. So I saw a video from the people at JDS, and they said it's okay to use liquid on these things. So we're going to go ahead and do that. What they did, they said just get you some good old LA Awesome that most of us have by now, right? Microfiber cloth. Spray some of the stuff on the cloth, not directly on the leather, and then just wipe it, and it wipes right off. Gets rid of all the soot and makes the gold nice and shiny. So that little piece I was worried about did come clean, so that's good. But that just shows there's still a little bit of marks there, and that's because, like I said, it was probably losing focus at that spot. So when I put the leatherette in, I gotta make sure I bend it and check it out so that it doesn't do that. It didn't come out great, but I mean, it is what it is. I can't really do anything about that. I think it's still good enough to, give. And I'll point it out to the customer, and if they don't like it, then I'll order some more and make them a new one. But I mean, I can't control natural divots in the leather, so there we go. She's nice and shiny. I'm happy with it. It's beautiful. There is a little bit of that brown right there, but like I said, there's nothing we can do about that. There is actually, when you look at it, there is, I don't know if you can see on camera, there's a slight bow in it. Yeah, I'll double check the next pieces. So there we go. That is making the jig from start to finish and running a test piece on the jig. So since we already did the first one, and there's only 6 in a set, we're gonna pop it in here. I'm gonna put the first one as a tool. So it won't show up, and then it'll just do these other 5. So 35 minutes or so later, we'll have these done, and I'll call that good for tonight. Go to bed, and then do a couple more tomorrow and a couple more Wednesday, and we'll be done with this job. So there you go. That's how you can make a jig. So anytime I get orders for a 6-piece coaster set, I've already got a jig now ready for it. Obviously, I can do it for just 1 if I want to. So from 1 up to 6. This one that I already made is a 4-inch coaster set. So if I put this in there, you notice it's big. It's bigger, so there would be a lot of play in there, and it wouldn't always be centered. So that's the other reason why I wanted to do one specifically for these coasters, because they're fractions millimeters smaller. So there we go, guys. There's that. And if you have any questions or comments, put her down below. Yep, I got my jacket back on because it's cold out, and I hit the button on accident. So anyway, that's how we do a jig. And if you have any comments, questions below, put them down in the comments section. Don't forget to hit like and hit subscribe, and have some coffee. Yum. Alright guys, take it easy. Alright kids, back real quick because I wanted to show you 2 things with this. Let me turn off the air real quick. Alright, let me save this file. Open up another one that I have pre-made. Actually, I don't want to do that. Let me put you down here so I can use my other hand. And delete, delete. Import. What I want to do is show you the back real quick. And I think that's good. Let's go ahead and make it 40. All right, that's good. Oh, shit, that's not good. Lock it. Now I'll do 40. Okay, perfect. Shift, click, center. Every time I want to do something real quick, it turns out to be not real quick. Center. Okay, thank you. All right, so first, let me flip you around. I was about to do another run, and I wanted to show you this first. So, let's hook you here, bend you that way, spin you around. Alright, so first we've got a completed one here, and I wanted to show you how I do the back real quick. So we put that in. I've set up my logo on the top already, and let's go focus this because I have a different focus, and that's also what I wanted to show you. But we'll focus that real quick. Alright, go home. And this should not take very long at all. Turn that on. It's going to take 2 minutes. So the back side of these coasters has a nice felt feel to it. It's kind of like the underside of leather, but it's more felty feeling. So it's pretty cool. And it engraves super well. It puts a really nice finish on it, I think. Come on, little camera. Smells like you're burning a couch. I kept the same speed as we're doing the front side. Because all we're doing is putting a nice little black mark in there, and it's got my business name and my website address. So the underside of every coaster will have that. So it's a little bit of advertising, kind of like your maker's mark. There's a lot of different opinions on this, but I believe you want to mark everything as much as possible. A couple things I don't mark. I don't mark my glassware. I don't mark my tumblers. But I'll stick business cards inside of them, things like that. But it doesn't look very professional if you mark those things. But these come out really nice, so I don't have a problem putting my maker's mark on these. And we're almost done. Something quick and easy. So after I get them all done, then I plop them down and do them all, at the same time. But I just wanted to show you guys that real quick while I was thinking about it. So if we look at it, it looks pretty nice, and it's burnt in there pretty good. So there you go. That's how we do the back. So there's your front, there's your back, and it's a nice coaster. So let me put you back down here. Earlier, if you remember, I got, come on camera, god damn it. Maybe I'll get a donor one time that'll say, hey, have a real camera. cooperate at all. Alright, zoom out. Alright, well, Jesus Christ, I got time for this. Getting late. I get cranky when I get late. Alright, so there we go. So if we remember, earlier we had our first set had these little marks right here, right? And I tried to clean them and it didn't clean well. And all 6 of them had something similar to that all over them. So the first batch, kind of yucky. I'm gonna have to go ahead and buy another one. I don't want to give these to the customer, but I hit it really hard with the towel to try to see if it was just black that hasn't come up or if it was gone through the foil, and it in fact had gone through the foil. So the fact that it went through the foil tells me that it wasn't a power problem. The power is good. It was a focus problem. So the focus was too deep. And when you're doing it with the basic leatherette for patches, it's not a problem. Those lay flat and you can stretch them and put them with magnets. And
Okay, so today has just been a day of days apparently, and it's probably because it's late and I'm ready for bed. But my handheld just quit on me. The memory card got full, so I didn't notice. So I finished my talking, and I didn't get to finish the lesson of the moment. Also, earlier my audio cut out, so I got to go and talk over that one. So it's just, whew, and this video is like an hour and 40 minutes long. I'm gonna stick to 10-20 minute videos, but these last 2 have been pretty long because we're we're reviewing some pretty lengthy processes. So anyway, excuse me. What I was trying to say, and I don't remember exactly where it cut off, but the first batch, right? Now this ring light might be too bright to see, but it did the little brown things over here. And then also another one, it did some right here, up along in there. So that's not good. The ring light's too bright, and it's just the kind of day we're having. So whatever, they don't look good. And I just pulled these 3 off of the laser that's running now and gave them a wipe down, and these ones are perfect. They don't have any of that garbage on it, and they're all golden and pretty like they're supposed to be. So what I did, and we're just gonna fake it because the machine's running, finishing that job. It's still got 3 more to go. So I watched a video, and someone had mentioned that, I don't remember if it was JDS or another guy that does leather a lot, but we're gonna pretend this is your focus needle as it comes down, right, and touches your material on your laser head. So when you've got your material here and you bring it down, and the weight of the laser will actually push in a little bit because these are padded. When you're dealing with the plain leather, you don't have to worry about that because it's already flat. And I either tape mine down or use my magnets or whatever, and I don't have that problem. But with these, they're padded and they're thick, so when the laser head comes down, it's actually poking. I don't know if you can see, but it pokes into the coaster, which is setting the focus too far, too deep. And like I said before, if you throw off the focus on these, they won't engrave properly. But you can set the focus too high, and it will still engrave properly. So they had a piece of acrylic. They used 1/8 inch acrylic, but I have a piece of wood that's 1/8 of an inch, and I set the focus to that. So now we don't push down on our thing anymore, but our focus is off by 1/8 of an inch. I did a batch of 6. 2 of them came out with a slight little bit of the black mark, which told me it still wasn't quite enough. So I also have metal business cards, and these are the little bit thicker ones. I don't remember what the thickness is, but I put 2 of these together and put it on top of that, and then did my focus on top of that. And that's when I got these 3 that came out perfect. So, just a little tip. You can set your focus 1/8 of an inch. Now, this wood might not be 1/8 of an inch. Let's see. No, it's just shy of 1/8 of an inch. So it's not quite 1/8 of an inch. So the 1/8 inch is a good mark. And when we put these 2 pieces of business card on there, that probably completes the 1/8 inch. So if you do, that's probably why they use the acrylic, because the acrylic is usually more accurate than the wood. So, yeah, I want to show you that even though the focus was out, pulled up high, 1/8 of an inch, the words are still really sharp down here. Fucking ring light. It's bright. I wonder if I turn it off, what'll happen. It's a little dark. That's better. So these are still really sharp down here. I mean, it's not out of focus at all. Then we look at the other ugly brown ones, and you can see the come on, focus. No, it won't focus. Stupid camera. All right, but yeah, you can see that brown mark from earlier. So we don't like that. Yeah, so you can pull the focus out, and it won't hurt. I learned that on the cups before too. I pulled the focus out on the tumblers, and it still was very crisp. That's how you can get away with doing some curvatures too. If you lay a cup down, you can actually go about to here before the focus really matters. But that's pulling it away. Going down below, it does affect it, obviously, because we've seen it. So just a little tip, when you're doing your leather coasters or even the leatherette, you can back up the focus about 1/8 of an inch, and then it will be beautiful, and you don't have to worry about it. So that was the tip I wanted to show you guys before we finally ended this video. I'm not going to get it uploaded tonight because it's really late, so I was working on the editing. Now I got to add this extra piece into it, then I'll save it, and then I'll upload it tomorrow. So there you go. There is our coaster set complete. I've got 3. I did 3 of them tonight after we ended the video. The first one was a no-go, but the next 2 sets were good, so we at least have 2 good sets done, and we will pick up where we left off tomorrow, and like I said, finish these up in the next couple of days. So don't forget to hit the like button, guys, and leave some comments below if you have any questions. I know these last 2 videos were really long, but they were tutorials that people had asked for start to finish. So hopefully that the people asked for them liked them. I'm not typically going to do these really long videos anymore unless it's another really sought after long tutorial, but we're going to try to keep them within 10-20 minutes. So don't forget to smash that like button. I've got a lot of views on some of my videos, and y'all must either just don't like them enough to hit the like button, or maybe you don't like me. I don't know. You hurt my feelings. So hit that like button. Let me know that you like the content. And if you don't like the content, hit the don't like button. I don't care. It's still engagement. So put in a comment why you don't like it. Then I can try to work on it. Obviously, we're going through some growing pains with our video setup here, proven by today's video. So, all right. Take it easy, and we'll catch you guys later. Where's the stop button? There it is. All right, bye.